Well, hello everyone again. My name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm host of Radio Entrepreneurs. Also, if you look at the different signs, Family Business Association plus my consulting firm, that's down this side, so the other side, since 1985, MAGE LLC. And our next guest is Jan Bruce, co-founder and CEO of meQuilibrium. Did I get it right?
That's great. meQuilibrium.
Wow, it's always a challenge for me. So welcome, Jan. Can you tell us about meQuilibrium?
Sure. meQuilibrium is a SaaS-based product that helps organizations build resilient workforces. We do that, across the company and one person at a time.
Can you explain how you do that and how exactly so that our entrepreneurs understand? Is this something that they would be interested in or could use?
Absolutely. I mean, maybe I'll start by giving you some background on why I did this and what we've how we've gotten here. And does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I actually did not start out as a technologist or a SaaS a SaaS software developer. I was an editor and a publisher and then a media entrepreneur. And about 10 years ago, I was pretty successful in the media world, in the sort of health and wellness world. But I started, feeling like if everything is so good, why am I so exhausted and, conflicted by my obligations and distracted? And as I looked around at our subscribers, our constituents, I realized that everything had kind of shifted under our feet. People were stressed out and burned out, and the way the world of work in particular was changing. I couldn't really, it seemed like people, first of all, I felt like I needed a better toolkit or structure or system for helping myself cope and be successful in these times. And I figured if I did, probably other people did as well. And, what I did was I saw that in the science of resilience, how you think and react really holds the keys to the results that you get, both personally and professionally. I felt that this was a time where everyone needed to learn to be more resilient. And so what I did, the software piece, was really because my vision was if we could build a killer app, essentially, that allowed 100% of people to get very personalized training, upskilling, coaching on how to manage their reactions, their thinking styles, and become more successful in the moment, that we would really have something. And that's what meQuilibrium brought to the market. So let me stop and see if you have questions about that, or how's that, Jeff?
Well, again, is this a consumer app or is this a B2B app, and how do they get it?
Yeah, so we are a B2B app, but we are, I like to say we're B2B2C, in that we live and die based on, high degree of personalization and relevance for every individual in the workforce. That includes managers and leaders, not just rank and file, but we have to individually engage people and help them, and that's the C, the consumer part, the B2C part. But on a B2B level, what's very important to companies is that we are able to provide them, with one purchase, a scalable, application that can, really work across their entire organization.
Interesting. And how long have you been doing this?
Well, we started the company about 9 years ago, and it took us a few years to build our application and test the science. And then we were in the market about 6 years. Today, we have the world's largest banks and financial institutions. We have the largest manufacturing and automobile manufacturer companies, pharma. Think about how important it is for people in pharma companies today to be resilient. and flexible. We have a lot of big technology companies, both the old guard tech and the new tech, the unicorn type companies. So big companies who are facing, constant transformation.
So is this something that you're contracting with, let's say, the HR department of companies on?
Yeah, it's the HR department.
And so it's the corporate pays the fee for the whole firm. The
That's
firm
right.
signs up, and you
Yes,
have their data, and you work with them through the app to keep people, let's say, in a balanced life.
that's right. That's right. More than balance, I would say that this is, when I say that thinking styles and how you react to things really holds the keys to your success. So it's teaching people to be adaptive and agile, but also be effective at problem solving, self-awareness, things like that, all of that. And what's so great about our science and our technology is that we are able to mass personalize, in that we can understand what each person is strong, where their deficiencies are. One person's not empathetic, the other person isn't good at controlling their emotions, a third person maybe doesn't have enough flexibility in their thinking. We can understand that, we can pinpoint that, and we can train people to do better.
But the onus is really on the individual to be committed to this and to want to make change, correct?
Of course, as in everything.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. But, in today's world, well, first of all, let me just say about that, a large part of the battle is creating self-awareness. And that's another place where data is so important, because when people see, in the form of, we profile you when you onboard, when you enroll, remember, like a Myers-Briggs type of a profile, or a predictive index is another type of a profile. We profile you, and when you see your scores, that's a light bulb for so many people. They're like, oh my God, I realize that I don't think I haven't admitted that I'm not good at controlling my emotions, but this makes it clear. So let's get to work. Things like that.
So it's really up to the individual to see it as a developmental purpose, not just as a sort of a picture in time that's static.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing, right.
Now, the data that you're generating, is it for the individual alone, or is it shared with the HR department?
So it's two things. We share the data with the individual. We do not share your individual data with the HR department, but what we provide to HR and leadership is aggregated and de-identified data. So think of it as, climate insights, and we will only, we'd make a very strong claim and back it up that we won't we won't reveal any individual data.
But if someone's emotionally
unstable,
I didn't want to use those words. I was fighting for another word.
Yeah, we can deal with that. I mean, here's what we do.
A lot of people who are emotionally feeling unstable right now, as an example.
Yeah. So we actually, a couple of years ago, we went to work to actually address that. And we validated our measurement tools against some of the leading clinical measures for things like burnout, depression, anxiety, high stress, so that we actually can give you we can peg you on a scale for, depression risk, for example, that is comparable to what you get when you took a psych eval or you went to your primary care physician. And by doing that, if we see that you are over the threshold for risk, or you're heading towards a clinical threshold, we will navigate you to another service.
Right. Very interesting. We've been speaking with Jan Bruce, co-founder and CEO of meQuilibrium. If somebody wants to learn more about, excuse me, meQuilibrium, how could they find you and the company?
Sure. Well, you can go to meQuilibrium.com, meQuilibrium, and
Right
there's
there.
MEQ, right? I mean, I like to think about your IQ, your EQ, and now there's your MEQ, which is the measure of how resilient you are. And you can go to meQuilibrium.com, and you can also reach me at jan@meQuilibrium.com.
All very interesting and topics which I've been discussing with people for probably 50 years. As the technology around social awareness and social and personal development has been changing. Clearly,
Mhm.
technology and those things are coming together in new technologies. Find it very interesting and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Well, thank you, Jeffrey. It's great to talk.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
remind everybody this is Radio Entrepreneurs.